I'm thinking about Jaylen Brown, and I'm thinking about a guy who I think his prime over the last maybe he's 27 now, so I'm thinking like the last 2 or 3 years we had entered prime Jaylen Brown. I think we may be entering peak Jaylen Brown at this juncture right now.
We've all seen what Jaylen Brown did over the weekend. We all have seen what he's been doing all season. And I just got a couple questions for you, chat. Fellas, I got a couple questions for y'all. First, before we get into any questions, Mars, before we get into anything, I just want to acknowledge what Jaylen Brown did against Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and the Clippers. 50-piece. He said he had a little bit of extra motivation before the game, and he said he wanted to prove that he's the best two-way player in the league. What is our thoughts on this 50-piece from Jaylen Brown?
Where is Lil Cattle? That's number one. Where is Lil Cattle? Because this is all I know, Ron. This is all I know. Hey, a Chrysler 300 swipe looked like a Phantom until a Phantom pull up. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw. Kawhi Leonard was out there looking real good. He was out there looking like he was balling out of control. And then a real two-way demon pulled up to Los Angeles and said, hey, let me help hold you to 35% shooting from the field as I drop a 50 ball on your head. So that's what happened this past weekend. Shout out to Kawhi, though. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Chrysler 300.
To be honest with you, Ron, his game, it just has gotten so much better over the course of the season. And then that looked, to be honest with you, Saturday night, that game looked personal for me. Like he wanted to show, like once he got going, that, yo, I am the best player on the floor. And he made a conscious effort to go at Kawhi Leonard every opportunity he got, whether Kawhi Leonard stopped him in terms of shot fake. I'm still getting the shot off on you. I'm still going to go at you in transition. I'm still going to take you one-on-one. And I felt like he did that. I mean, I haven't given Jaylen Brown enough credit for his improvement as a basketball player. And I think on Saturday night, I think he showed me a lot, not just from the 50 ball. He showed me a lot in terms of his confidence. Like he's much more confident shooting in the mid-range. He's much more confident shooting at the long ball line. He's much more confident in his handle. And I think that goes into the work that he's put in. So, I mean, I'm watching the Celtics offense, that offense, I mean, they're looking for the key is their second and third options in the second and third look, not the second and third options. I'm sorry, the second and third looks in the offense. And like a guy like Jaylen Brown is open on the wing, and if he's not open on the wing, then if Peyton Pritchard is back screening, you know, stuff like that is going on, and they're looking for the second or the third guy when that stuff is going on. And Kawhi Leonard, who I've always felt like he's not a great off-ball defender. He gets his head turned a lot, and I think that they took advantage of that, especially with Jaylen Brown and with him closing out. So, I mean, he was better than him. And if I'm watching today and I'm looking at what Jaylen Brown looks like, yeah, he looks fantastic. Yeah, he looked great.
He got 50 on only 8 free throws, too. He only shot 10, made 8. So it was a lot of buckets getting passed around. Mars, thoughts on JB?
In that game or the season? Or both? Right?
Both.
Can't hear you, Mars.
Outside
now you hot.
Outside of Ox, I would say Jaylen Brown's exceeded everyone's expectations. And that's not saying no one had expectations for him, because there were people who believed. But even their expectations, I would say, have been exceeded, whether that's from a Boston record standpoint. I believe they're the 3rd or 4th seed.
Third.
One of them.
Half a game back from the 2nd seed.
Yeah, so they're right there in the hunt for a top 2 seed. That's definitely exceeding most people's expectations. Jaylen Brown is averaging 30. That probably exceeded a lot of people's expectations. I believe Jaylen Brown's having the most efficient year of his career.
Yep.
That's probably exceeding a lot of people's expectations. Across the board, he's just been better than I think anyone could have expected. I'm speaking for myself as well. He's been nothing short of amazing. There's not much you can, like, if you want to be critical, I think you just be clutching at straws at this point. He's been amazing. The mid-range shot making has been second to none. He's making the 3 at a good clip. He's getting to the free throw line. He's creating for himself and others. He's still competing on the defensive side of the ball. He's still taking assignments. Like, I don't know what you could really have to nitpick about with Jaylen Brown in regards to his performance this season. He deserves all the credit in the world. He's talking up his game. He's saying he should have been player of the month. He's the best two-way player in the game. And when he playing like this, he's well within his right to believe those things about himself because he's doing his best to back all of those statements up. So,
are we in prime Jaylen Brown years, or are we in peak Jaylen Brown years? Which one is it? Because I think the two are different. I think that we could get a guy on the other side of his prime, and he's not as good as he used to be. But we can also get a guy in the beginning of his prime, but he's not peak that guy. For example, Swiper, Joker. When do you think Joker entered his prime in your estimation?
Well, 21. Yeah.
When did we get peak Joker?
Well, I mean now.
Right. So I think between, once again, Moss.
He keeps getting better. So
yeah. But I think we've entered peak Joker years. I think over the last 3 years we've entered peak Joker years. I'm thinking about Jaylen Brown, and I'm thinking about a guy who I think his prime over the last, like, maybe he's 27 now, so I'm thinking like the last 2 or 3 years we had entered prime Jaylen Brown. I think we may be entering peak Jaylen Brown at this juncture right now.
Yeah,
he's 29 right now.
Is he 29? I thought he was 27. I'm sorry.
No, he came up
just turned 29.
Yeah, he played a couple years at Cal.
He only played,
but he's currently having, in terms of what do you say, Real Talk?
He was a freshman. He just got drafted in 16. So
yeah. He played. I'm looking at his scoring season this year, like, just for context, like, he's basically having, without the same repertoire around him, a very similar scoring year to remember Tatum in 23 when he had average 30 a game on, like, 61 or something like that. Like, I think he's showing that, like, when they both get an opportunity, both of them are number one options. And I think that's why they are so good together. And I think for me, the way that I look at this kind of stuff is you always have to have a guy that decides to take a back seat for someone else. And that's not a bad thing. That's just the way the league works. If you have two very talented players, especially wings on the roster, one of you has to be the person that says, like, you take a secondary role in some situations, whether it be closing games, whether it be with the ball in your hands, usage, whatever it might be. I think this is kind of shown Jaylen Brown has been very selfless with his approach to the Celtics, that he's obviously gotten a lot better, but he could have elevated his game to a different level, maybe a little bit sooner had he got the opportunity. But he realized that it's better for the team that if I take a secondary role and I'm able to kind of not diminish in a negative way, but diminish some of my own usage and skill set for the sake of the team. It really worked out well. And obviously they won a championship and they won 64 games. They had the best offense ever that year. So, and obviously Derek White and, Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. But now I think JB's put in a situation where they required more out of him. And remember, Chill, this is so opposite of what I wanted. Remember in the summer when he had the meniscus tear, I didn't want him to play till December because I wanted him to get the surgery to fully repair it as opposed to scope a part of his meniscus out. And so he's basically shown that, like, look, I'm healthy, I feel good, my knee feels good. Yep. And to Mars's point, I'm looking at some of his defensive stuff now. This year, as a defensive player, players are still shooting 4% worse when he's a primary defender, which is 91st percentile this year. At the rim, players are shooting 4.8% worse, which is 70th percentile.
Is Jaylen Brown the only defender this year?
All league is tough. There's a lot of.
Is it ridiculous to think that, Moss?
I mean, he might get some votes because like people
are
accounting for the offensive burden, but he's not defending at that level. But for like among the stars, the superstars,
he's defending really well. Yeah,
he deserves full credit for like being as good defensively as he has been with that burden. But amongst like the actual, I don't want to say the actual defenders, but like amongst
Ben Thompson, Blue Door.
That's a tougher bar to.
I think this kid in Phoenix, Dunn. I think he's defending at that level too. To be honest with you, I think he's been great.
Well, I think from stars, I'm looking at the list now. So really, if I said like the top, MVP candidates where I would put him defensively, I think Giannis is number one, and obviously, Wemby, Giannis would be 1, 2.
Right.
But I'm looking at it now, man. I think like there's an argument that Jaylen Brown's been the third best defender. I think he's been better defender than Shea, Jokic, Luka, which for what he has to do, especially with the Celtics team, that's a big deal. Like, and I just think that like it matters that he's able to take some primary assignments at times, and then be able to produce the amount of points that he's producing for this team. I think that speaks a lot to his conditioning, number one. And also, too, I want to spread my own agenda. I want to play the clip later on. I will be commandeering the show. There's something about when you learn salsa, you get in touch with your footwork and your rhythm.
Stop, Ron.
He's having his. Hey, did you see him with Monet?
I seen it.
Yeah,
so I'm
I
just saying
seen that, boy.
I'm just saying, real talk. Like, there's
Hey,
something to it.
that boy, he complained about him not winning Eastern Conference Player of the Year. Stream, went salsa dancing with Victoria Monet.
Mm-hmm.
Bought a courtside ticket and dropped 50 in front of her. If that's
Bought
not
her.
Legendary.
She was courtside?
Yeah, she was courtside that game, yeah. After
they went salsa dancing before the game or after the
before.
Well, this was probably from a few days prior. Then she was, she showed up.
You know what I'm
they
saying?
They salsa after that game too.
Respect.
I don't know what they what their
I don't know what his status is. I don't know. Is he still with Kassir?
No. In fact, not only is not only is he not with her, they broke up with the premise. I need to focus on my job. That's why I need to focus on my job, and he is 100% focusing on his job. Because if I'm being honest, Ron, to your point, Swiper, this summer when we were talking about the Celtics, I thought this was a gap year. I thought that this was a year where this team is not going to be very good. Jaylen Brown has got a bad knee. He shouldn't be playing much. You can just you got a lot of money next season. You got Jayson Tatum coming back. You got Jaylen Brown who'll be back. So instead, not only has Jaylen Brown been nothing short of fantastic, I think if the season ended today, I think Joe Mazzulla is the coach of the year. I think he's done a great job with this.
I agree with that.
I think he's done a fantastic job with this group.
Yeah, I still can't believe y'all doubted Joe Mazzulla. But hey, here we are.
What?
Ron,
what are you doing?
Joe Mazzulla. We know you're ready.
What's happening right now, Ron?
I was the highest on the Celtics.
Up here
it's about to for sure get nasty. I was the highest on the Celtics out of everybody. Swiper, come on, dog.
How am still getting home court? What are you talking about? We did this already.
Come on. All right,
me and Chip was going back and forth.
Right.
Swiper, I'll let you ride this. I'll let you ride this wave with me. But I was the only one that believed in
you
this.
on the back of the, you on the back
were
of
the only people that believed in the Celtics. And part of it was I said I believe in Joe Mazzulla. Now, I got things I don't like about Joe Mazzulla. I don't like that he wants to just shoot 1,000,000 threes a game. However, if it is a team that could get him up and be good, I was highlighting this team with Anthony Simons and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't necessarily want to get into that. What I do want to get into is a couple things that Jaylen Brown said. First off, should Jaylen Brown have been Eastern Conference Player of the Month?
Yes, I think so. I think considering who they beat, in addition to who they beat, how well he's been playing, I think he should have been Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Yes.
Yeah, I mean him. Yeah, I do think that's fair, especially given the month he had in the burden he's carrying. I think that's perfectly fine. I didn't understand either one of them last month, to be honest with you. I didn't think Brunson was number 2 either.
Who did you think was 2?
That's
wait, who should have won? Who should have won both?
It wasn't Brunson, I guess. I don't know if it should have been. I just know it shouldn't have been him.
No, I mean, it's just I don't want to. Like, I'm not trying to hate. Like, that's unfair. Like, but Brunson was a good selection. I do think Jaylen had a great argument. I'll just say that Jaylen had a great argument.
I don't really keep up with Player of the Month voting. The only time I care is when Jalen Green's having a good month. Then I'm like, oh, Player of the Month. Other than that, it's like, this award. I don't. Jaylen Brown, shout out to you. If you think you deserved it, sure. You was going crazy, so I'm not going to argue with you.
And I think a part of Brunson won in part because of the in-season tournament too. So like, that's what I'm saying.
I believe they had a better record too. I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Jalen Brunson winning Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Jaylen Brown definitely put up a worthy fight, and he was a worthy opponent because in December he was going absolutely berserk. So it could have gone either way, but I'm not mad at the award going to Jalen Brunson.
I mean, they beat Cleveland, they beat the Knicks, they beat Toronto, they beat the Heat, they beat Toronto again. They beat the Clippers. This within that month. I mean, they only lost 3 games. I mean, they won 12 of the 15 games that month. Yes, they won 12 of their 15 games in that month, and I mean they were rolling really well. And Jaylen Brown, what was he averaging? 30, 31 a game in a month?
31.
Yeah, he was
31.
averaging
So
31.
his
Yeah,
numbers
and this-
look just like SGA's.
Yeah, he was
It
averaging
was
31.
very
31,
similar.
31.7, 6.5 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 50%.
All like
I mean, that's player of the month.
43.
Yeah, 43 from 3, 79 from the
Yeah.
line, plus
And-
51 on the month.
I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like player of the month to me. That's exactly what that sounds like.
He was going.
I mean, we'd
crazy.
have to check his EPM, but you know,
Oh,
Derek White still
might
leads
be.
in the Celtics.
Isn't he pretty low on EPM?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he is, which is why we don't go by those stats. But even his last game in December, I want to say it was like a 23-point game against the Jazz. That was either the last one or the first one. I don't know how StatMuse goes in order, but even in that game, he had 10 assists, which again goes to his growth as a
26
player. Yep, it goes to his growth as a player, as a passer, and a playmaker. So yeah, shout out to Jaylen Brown. He's just gotten better in every aspect offensively this year. I think he just locked himself in the gym this summer. He knew that he had the opportunity to finally be a number one option. He's been wanting to be a number one option for a long time.
Mhm.
He knew he would be able to showcase his talents, and my goodness, is he showcasing them?
that's it right
Isn't
there.
it? But it's kind of funny, right? Because if Jaylen Brown was having the season that people projected he would have, like the bad season, people thought the Celtics suck, Jaylen Brown can't be a number one option, all that stuff. People would start blaming the extracurriculars he's undertaking, the streaming, all of the stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Now he's distracted, he's not focused. But all of a sudden, because he's hooping,
Still doing
Jaylen
those
Brown,
things
he's
too, by the way.
been yeah, but so it's like,
Still
it's funny,
doing
it's
those
like,
things.
It's very,
He brought that
it's
up
ve-
yesterday.
yeah, it's very outcome based with like guys like that. Where
That's how-
if you're playing well, no one seems to care about those things. But the moment you're doing those things and not playing well, apparently it's a distraction. It should
He did the
stop.
same thing with Shaq.
That's how it should be, Mars.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I just think it's
If you-
funny.
if you can-
He's
'cause,
not distracted, but if he was playing
most-
badly, he's distracted when it's the same thing. It's just, I guess.
Well, most people can't stay up with the Owls and soar with the Eagles. Now, if you can, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you can do both, then do both. But if you can't, then you need to shut down the one thing and keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, he
I
said
think that makes sense if somebody is doing extracurricular activities outside of their job and they're not performing their job well, even if it's not to the extracurricular activities fault. I mean, you probably should cut those off until you get your job right, and then try to go back to managing that.
They
Like,
did the same thing with
I
Shaq.
think that makes sense.
They did the same thing with Shaq in the mid '90s. Shaq, you care about movies, you care about rap albums, you care about commercials. You don't really care about winning championships. And then he still was doing commercials when they was winning back-to-back championships. He was still doing features on records when they was winning championships. He still was doing that, and they stopped talking about it because what they cared about, they cared about him winning, right? So, but to your point, real talk, what I pay attention to, and again, I was wrong here because I had Jaylen Brown before the season started. I was looking at about 23 between 23 to 26 a game. He'd probably be in and out of the lineup because of that knee injury, but it was obvious watching him. He's been in the lab. He's been working on his game. And I care about that stuff. I care about seeing guys get better and showing that you've gotten better. Like a lot of guys say that they've gotten better, but you don't see it, right? You see them talk about, I've been working on my game, when in reality, no, you really haven't. You haven't been working on the stuff that makes you more effective. With Jaylen Brown, that handle has gotten tighter. And with that handle getting tighter, he's getting to the space where he needs to get to pull up on that mid-range, especially with that three ball too. He's always been a great transition player. I've always felt like that about him being a great transition player. But the fact that that handle has gotten tighter, his ability to pass has gotten better. So a lot of this stuff, a lot of this stuff that he was deficient in, he's obviously been in the lab working on it, and it shows. And I dig that about him. Kudos to Jaylen Brown, because I tell you what, brother, like I said, I did not know you was this nice. I knew you was nice. I didn't know you was this nice. No, I did not.
There's a reason they gave him all that money. You know what I mean? Because they knew something. There's a reason they gave him all that damn money in the world lost their mind. How you gonna give a guy all that money he can't go left? Sometimes you just need an opportunity to show how good you are. So, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, Jayson Tatum had to go down. Like, obviously, I think everybody, including Jaylen Brown, would rather have Jayson Tatum here. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure there's nobody in the. I'm pretty sure there's no. I'm 100% positive that Jaylen Brown would rather his brother be on the court with him. You know what I mean? There's no. I would like to assume that. I'm pretty sure all 6 of us up here would rather have Jayson Tatum on the court. You know what I mean? But sometimes
absolutely we would.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's next man up, and you got to be ready for that. And obviously, Jaylen Brown was more than prepared for this moment. But like I said, there's a reason they gave that man all that money.
Yeah.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the hoes go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out here did raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.